So will a god get punished this time? Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 4 of Witch Hat Atelier. I am very excited. Like this series has just been winning me over like crazy, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Last episode, we got like a little test for Coco that Agathe untimely put her into. It was something that Coco was not supposed to be taking on yet, but she succeeded. Using the skills that her mother taught her, she was able to make it work out. Despite the odds, despite everything being against her. And Agathe didn't seem too happy. Kiefer was, I think, in the moment just, like, more happy and more focused that Coco was okay, as well as giving her her hat and cloak and everything. But I really hope that Agathe does get scolded, at least. At least I hope that Kiefer, like, has a sit-down with her to tell her that what she did was wrong. Mind you, I hope that it's clear to Kiefer based on, Coco going up to Agathe about it, or just that he's told that this was on her. Because this is one of those things that I feel like needs to be addressed. And I'm not gonna drop the show or anything if it's not, but it will be a little bit of a demerit against it in my eyes. Because it's like when a character does something wrong, especially a child character like this, they need to be, scolded for that. They need to be told that they were wrong. Or at the very least, come to that acknowledgement on their own and maybe even apologize for it. But it needs to be addressed because it's important for character growth. That kind of thing is a necessity, honestly. And I understand that Agathe is kind of like... I understand that she's the character like Amity in the Owl House or Diana Cavendish in Little Witch Academia, where she's the character who's supposed to be very full of herself because she's had to put in all this work, all this study to live up to her family's reputation, which maybe it's... we don't even know if it's her family's reputation in this one, but you get the general idea. She's had to live up to a standard that's been placed upon her and is very clearly, like, seeing Coco as, an outsider who's just come in, and she's worried about being shown up because of all the work she's put into it. She doesn't want to feel inferior to someone who's never been around magic before. We understand that, like, it's very clear Agathe's not a bad person. She's a kid.
She's like, they're like, what, 12 or so? They're stupid young and stupid stupid. Like, when I was 12, I was stupid. Hell, when I was 22, I was stupid. Like, young people are stupid. They make dumb mistakes, they do dumb things, they fuck up. But the best part of fucking up is that you get to grow from it. That you get to advance your knowledge, you get to advance your empathy, you get to advance who you are as a person. That's what fucking up is all about. That's why it's important to fuck up. And that's why it's important to show young characters in media fucking up so that they can grow, that they can change. We see this a lot in like a lot of various anime, cartoons, etc. You could obviously go with the Owl House, but you could go with Amphibia, the Ghost and Molly McGee. You could go with Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. You can name pretty much anything. I mean, fuck, Neja. I have it on my shirt. You could easily reference Neja in that too, because he fucks up. He fucks up quite a bit. But he grows. He becomes better. He evolves as a person. And he has help getting there, and that's a big point too. It's not it doesn't have to be a solo journey. The reason why these characters are able to grow is because usually they have someone there for them. And in Coco's case, she has 3 potential new friends and a mentor, all there for her. In Agat's case, literally the same. 3 potential friends and a mentor. And it's just like, I just feel like we need to at least address it. It doesn't have to be like this big, massive thing. We don't have to have like an entire episode dedicated to it. But I at least want it addressed, even if briefly. Because it needs to be addressed to some degree. That's my big hope for this. Because if it gets addressed, that completely wipes away my only issue with, honestly, the series so far. Of the first 3 episodes, that's my only, like, notable issue. Anything else is just maybe nitpicking at best, but honestly, that's the only thing I can even really think of. But it is something that I feel is very important. I've made no secret in the past that when I watch any kind of show like this, or just any kind of show pretty much in general, story and characters are the most important aspect to me, more than anything else. I don't give a shit about animation as much. The animation can look weak as hell, and I don't care as long as the story and characters are good. Because the show is driven by its story and characters. Any show is. Without having good story and characters, there's literally no driving force to the series. The animation can be as good as possible, but if the story and characters are crap, then there's no reason to watch the animation. There's nothing keeping you hooked in. The music can be great, the voice acting even, but the story and the character writing is much more important in my eyes. And so, like, something like this would bother me. And that's why I'm having these pre-thoughts pretty much talking about just that. Because it's the big thing on my mind going into this episode. And again, it won't ruin the show or anything, but it will be a demerit against it. It will hurt it. And it's so easy, and it can be so quick to just address this. And I also, of course, have to take into account, I don't know how accurate this is to the original manga, like in terms of how well it's adapting it, or if it's leaving anything out, or even adding stuff in. I don't know. But I'm hoping that if that is in the manga, that it would be in here. And if it's not in the manga, I would hope it'd be in here. Because again, it just feels like it's a necessity. it can be a single line pretty much, and that's enough. I would prefer a little bit more, like just at least one conversation, one little bit of dialogue, but just at least something. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But it's something that I haven't heard anyone talking about. Because I've been keeping up with this. Obviously, you're seeing this in the future of when I recorded this, but I'm recording this episode like literally as soon as possible after it released. It released like an hour ago. As of when I'm recording this. And I wanted to get to it as soon as possible because of how much I've been loving this. But yeah, it's just this is one thing that again, won't ruin it, but I won't compromise on this either. I think it's that important. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it does address this, and hopefully we're able to just, move on and enjoy whatever else is to come, whatever other studies or characters we're introduced to, so we still have more in the intro. I'm very excited. I think we should just get into it, so let's check this out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this episode took a turn. Like, it started off as like, oh, we're going to go to this town of magic. We're going to see the sights. We're going to, get Coco a wand. And then, nope. We're suddenly brought to a massive lore story moment where Coco and, by extension, the others are led into a trap by who may be one of the main antagonists, at least for now. And that is this brimmed cap witch. So we find out at least partially who this person is. We don't have any more details than that. But the witch that sold Coco the Forbidden Spell book and the wand and the ink when she was young ends up being a brimmed cap. We find out that they're a dangerous faction of witches who, presumably based on what this witch was saying, I think they're trying to maybe bring back the old ways. Because the way they were talking about Coco, almost being like a savior to them, I feel like their goal is to probably bring back how magic used to be. I compared it to wild magic in Owl House, but kind of like the opposite way. In Owl House, wild magic was good, and it was restricted by an evil person, Emperor Bellos. Here, wild magic, as we could refer to it, is bad because it's dangerous. It's exceptionally dangerous, and had led to horrible destruction and chaos and just evils being perpetuated. And the brimmed caps, who are also donning old witch hats, classic style witch hats, which is also part of the reason why I'm thinking this, as well as masks to hide their true identities. They are, from what I'm gathering, purists, you could call them. Or, what would be another word for it? They're traditionalists. That's the word. More than purists. That's what I was trying to think of. They're traditionalists. They see the original wild magic as being more, probably, I would say more um authentic, I guess. That's not the word I was trying to think of. Um, but more pure, more real. And so, because of that, they feel that the restrictions that have been placed upon, which is in, I don't know how long it's been, however the fuck long it's actually been, it's been holding them back and holding back their ability to practice magic to its fullest extent. That's the vibe I'm getting from the information we're given here, because obviously I have no idea if I'm wrong. I could be entirely wrong. I could be just completely off the mark, because I don't know anything about this. Um, I've never read the manga, and even with people talking about this because of the anime's release and how popular this has gotten, I've not heard anyone even like trying to mention any spoilers. People have actually been really respectful about this, except for the assholes who, are bitching about the manga being quote unquote woke, or there's some people who weirdly enough are like pretending like it's Israeli propaganda or some fucking shit. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? For multiple reasons. You do know that the author is an active supporter of Palestine, right? Like, what? I think people are just saying bullshit just to get attention. Because what the fuck? And there's also some, dumbass losers out there who are also bitching about, like, other decisions being made within the manga publisher and the author and everything. Idiot people out there like Chibi Reviews. An Anituber who is, a horrific pedophilic piece of shit. So yeah, not really worth talking about. But I felt like I needed to mention it here because that's like the biggest discourse I see going on about this right now. Other than people just, loving the series and its animation and everything. People aren't even pretending to give spoilers, and I'm very appreciative of that because there's so many shows out there, so many anime where people, manga fans especially, just do not give a shit. Obviously, there's the One Piece community, which is horrifically bad at this. But there's a lot of other communities too who will just spoil things without even thinking about it. It's like someone will be like mentioning like, "Oh, I've been enjoying this anime," and then someone will come into the comments like, "Oh, just wait until this and this happens." It's like, "Fuck you." The thing is, there are some people out there who just don't understand that others like to go into shows as blind as possible, that they want to experience it completely fresh without knowing anything. And I'm not even just talking about reactors like myself. Like, there's people who watch it on their own time who just don't want to be spoiled because they like the discovery of it. They like to experience it with those fresh eyes because it makes it mean more. It makes it like feel more investing. And it just irritates me so much because there's so many people who get spoiled to so many big things. And luckily, there's some people who remain as spoiler-free as possible on so much. And I don't even know entirely how they do that. They must just not be terminally online like I am. Because it's like, how can you be online all the time and not have heard any spoilers for One Piece, for Amazing Digital Circus, for, I don't know, Avatar? Yet there are people who I've seen who have gotten into this stuff who have never heard anything. I've watched multiple reactions of people who have never seen One Piece checking out the live action for the first time with completely fresh eyes, and they didn't even know Luffy could stretch. How? How do you just not hear about that? One Piece is the highest selling comic book of all time. Period. It is the biggest anime of all time. How have you not even heard that Luffy stretches? That's not even a plot detail. That's just pre-knowledge. I genuinely am shocked every time I see it, but it makes the reactions better, mind you. I'm not complaining about it for the reactions. It makes them better, but I have no idea how that can happen. It makes no sense to me. I envy those kinds of people. I envy people who somehow are not spoiled like crazy for One Piece. Especially for One Piece. But yeah, with Witch Hat Atelier, it's just, I haven't seen anyone even pretending to try. It's like everybody's just really respectful. And all the manga fans I've seen, outside of, again, the idiot chuds out there, all the manga fans I've seen have been like super supportive and just excited to see people experiencing this. They've just been like geeking out over all the anime onlys, like experiencing this for the first time and just getting to like revel in how good it is. And that's wholesome. That's beautiful. And I've seen some shots of like manga scenes from the equivalent chapters from the like first and second episode. I haven't seen like anything past that, of course. But those like comparison shots were posted like after episode 3 came out. At least that's when I saw them. And so it's like, oh, you're seeing stuff from the first and second episode after episode 3 is already posted. That's like good timing for that. But it's like it's just comparisons of certain shots, like, and how they look in the versus the manga and the anime. And it's like the manga obviously looks amazing. It's phenomenally drawn. But with the colors and the lights and certain like stylistic choices, I do think that the anime like improves upon things. It makes certain shots just look that much more bombastic, I guess is a good word, and more like magical. That's a good word for it for obvious reasons. But yeah, going back to this actual episode, just not talking about the rest of this extended stuff. I liked meeting again Noah, I think his name was, actually, and I forgot to check his voice actor, which it's not going to show me in the credits. I don't know why I'm checking there. I have to look it up on Behind the Voice Actors. But yeah, I definitely want to know, because I very much think I knew that voice. And I just I couldn't place it because there is the Irish accent the VA was doing. Let me see if I can find him. I'm not looking at any names or any other VAs. I'm just looking at pictures right now so I can find. I'm not finding the character. I know this episode just came out, so maybe that's why I'm not seeing it on Behind the Voice Actors. Nanoa? Witch Hat Atelier dub voice? I hope I got... Oh, okay, I got the name right, I think. But I don't know if I got the spelling correct. Okay, I'm not even... I'm not seeing anything yet. Past hour, how about that? I am not seeing anything. Oh, hold on. I might have been wrong on the name. Noah? Nol. Okay. So I wasn't entirely wrong. Null Noah. Okay, here's a thing from Crunchyroll. Which Hat Atelier anime reveals voice actors for Nonoa Tarta? It was Tarta the Kid? Okay, that's telling me the Japanese voices. This article came out today, and it's just telling me the Japanese voices? How does that help? But yes, Tarta is the kid. Oh, hold on, here's something. Let me go to Twitter. I found a thing on Twitter that I knew it. I was thinking that like the entire time, but I wasn't sure because of the accent. It's Kent Williams. Also, Tarta is Emily Neves. Neves. The Dragon has a VA. Bradley Gareth. Okay. I knew. I knew I recognized. I knew I recognized them. And I was thinking, um, while watching, like, is that Kent Williams? And it ends up, yeah, it's actually just Kent Williams. For those who don't know, Kent Williams is known as Father in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He's also Mr. Compress in My Hero Academia, various characters in Dragon Ball, such as Mercenary Tao and Dr. Gero. He was the judge in Ace Attorney, and he's even in Ruby as Gira Belladonna, Blake's father. He's been in various other things as well. I think he was in Baccano. I think he was in Baccano. Hold on, let me see if I can find that on here. Oh, he's in Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. He's Byakuya in Dr. Stone. So there's a big one. He's in Steins Gate Zero. He's in a lot. But he's in so much that it's hard to find what I'm looking for. Or on High. Oh, he's in the Funimation dub for One Piece. He's Captain Kuro. Dr. Vegapunk. That's right, he is Dr. Vegapunk. I did hear about that. Yeah, he does like the Einstein voice for that. He's the Blue Ogre in Yu Yu Hakusho. He's in Assassination Classroom, Drifters, Saga of Tanya the Evil. I'm not seeing what I was thinking. Maybe I'm thinking of, I might be thinking of the other guy. Because John Swayze, who voices Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Kent Williams sound almost exactly alike, which is why they were greatly cast for these two characters. But they sound so goddamn much alike. And so I sometimes get them confused, and I might be thinking that. Because John Swayze was Crocodile in One Piece. He's Lord Death in Soul Eater, All for One in My Hero Academia. He's the director in Golden Boy, Dr. Kisaragi in New Cutie Honey. That's not the Cutie Honey we reacted to, though. We reacted to Re-Cutie Honey. But I'm trying to see if... This is going to bother me if I don't find it. Oh, he was an Elfin Lead. Nice. That was a thing. That's pretty much how I view Elfin Lead. That was a thing. It occurred. It happened. Yep, there's Crocodile. This is like sorted out by year, which makes it a little weird. The way it's sorted out here. Yes, Baccano. There we go. Van Dyke in episode 14. Yeah, it was him I was thinking of. It was John Swayze. Okay, but yeah, I thought that was Kent Williams. It's just like the accent was throwing me off. The Irish accent was throwing me off entirely. But yeah, I knew I recognized that voice. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I love Kent Williams. He's such a great VA. I think he was at YomaCon this past year. Either that or it was a different convention. I think no, it might have been a different one. It might not have been YomaCon. He was in Michigan over the past year at some convention. I wasn't able to meet him though. Like, it's just I'm not able to meet everyone at every convention I go to, so I have to pick and choose. And yeah, it's just usually it's like sometimes I'm just not able to get to everyone I would like to, mostly because of money, you know. But I would love to actually meet him, like for obvious reasons. He does so many great roles. Um, but yeah, that was totally him. But I liked his character. I like No Noah. The kid I didn't really get enough of a vibe from yet. It's clear he's gonna be a more of a character. We just didn't get enough of him in this episode. And I like the just vibe of everything. I like we got like the lore of where the ink comes from these trees and everything, and from like their lifeblood, basically. That's fascinating. Um, I don't think I know how ink is made, apparently. Because I don't know, like, they're talking about, like, ink coming from trees and stuff, and it's like, is that right? That doesn't sound right to me, but I guess maybe it is. I don't know. Hold on. Let me look it up. I have a phone. How is ink made? Ink is manufactured by mixing colorants, pigments, or dyes with a carrier, oil, water, or solvent, and additives to control viscosity, adhesion, and drying speed. Oh, okay. Pigments, which are insoluble powders that provide color, yeah, like carbon black for black ink and so on. So it basically contains like four main components: the pigment, the carrier, which is just some kind of liquid, oil, water, etc. It looked like he was maybe using water or something. A resin, which binds the pigment to the surface, and then additives, which can like affect durability, drying speed, flow, that kind of stuff. And he said like the ink he quickly made there was like rudimentary or whatnot. So yeah, it makes sense that that was base, just a base kind of level. That's fascinating though. I guess I could guess you could take stuff from like tree branches and stuff. Hmm, fascinating. Very fascinating. We're learning stuff today. But yeah, this episode also delved a little bit more into Agat's hatred for Coco, and we're definitely going to get more depth on that as we go along. Agat's definitely been through something. There's some kind of trauma or some kind of like level of expectation that's been placed upon her that's making her hate Coco for simply being an outsider and not growing up around this and not having to put in as much work. It makes her feel inferior, and there's definitely something more to that. And once those barriers are broken, we'll obviously begin building a relationship. But I'm very curious to see like where they actually take this and how long it actually takes to get there. And I'm not asking for it to be rushed. I don't really want it to be, but yeah. I'm just curious. But it got like her blowing up like that, cuz before this she's been like more matter of fact, and her tone's been very like weighed and stable. But like here she actually just broke and blew up at her. And we also see, like, in retaliation, Coco is also having a lot of self-doubt because of, like, being just thrown into this and feeling like she's at fault, even though she's definitely not. Also, Tetia gets a little more by showing her, like, panicking and everything when everything goes down, especially with the dragon. We actually see her, like, really freaking out, and it kind of gives to us this vibe that Tetia just doesn't do well under pressure, that she doesn't do well with, like, especially scary situations. It freaks her out and, like, sends her into a spiral, which is very valid and very real. There's a lot of people who do that, myself included. I do not do well under pressure at all. It sends me into an entire massive freak out if I, like, get too pressured too quickly, especially. So yeah, I know what that's like. But Tetia was almost practically having a panic attack there. That's intense. So Riche seems very cool and collected. I've heard some people on Twitter calling her, like, the autism monster or something like that. I'm like, what? And it's like I can kind of see, like, the autistic vibes she gives. And I'm saying that as someone with autism, by the way, just to make that very clear for those who may not know. I have autism. I am honestly very autistic. Pretty much everyone agrees with that. And I don't see that as an insult, by the way. It's just a matter of fact. I am very autistic. Um, I can see it, but I feel like anytime there's a character in any series who's a little weird or even a little stoic in terms of their personality, people just automatically like to throw the autism card out there a little too easily. Like, there are characters in various media who definitely give those vibes, very much so. But then there's characters who it's just like, oh, they're a little weird, or oh, they happen to have a little, like, a less emotive personality that automatically makes them autistic. That seems a bit simplistic in terms of thinking. I can kind of see the vibe of what people are saying with Riche, though. I just don't think there's enough to, like, really, like, make a statement like that yet. Um, we definitely need to, like, see more of her. We definitely need to, like, just, like, get more of a focus on her before we can really, like, imply that. So, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I very much enjoyed this episode. It obviously gave me quite a bit to talk about, and it left off on a cliffhanger, with Kiefer finding out about all of this and, like, going to trying to save them. Um, we don't get the resolution to this just yet. And so next episode, now we have to wait a week to get to, which is gonna suck. Being caught up sucks when you're this invested in a fucking series. It's Isaacin all over again. I remember back when I was watching Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin, and it's like waiting a week every time was so fucking difficult. Like, I'm not even the kind of person who likes binging shows. I actually strongly argue against binging. I think it hurts the overall absorption of a series. You get to absorb information better when you have the time to think between episodes. And so I by no means am, like, saying that I wish I could watch the next episode right now. I just don't want to wait a week. I just waiting a week for the next episode is going to be so painful. It just is. It's going to be worth it, and I'm absolutely for that, but it's going to be painful. It's a good pain in the end, but it is pain. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.